It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up. Can't you see the sun shining? I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Check my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah. I know this'll be the day. Oh, yeah. Everything will be okay. Oh, yeah. I kiss my cares all away. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Hey. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing on these streets. Oh yeah. Ain't nobody gonna cry today. Ain't nobody gonna die today. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Gonna be a good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's beautiful. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. It's a real good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. Woo! It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up. Can't you see the sun shining? I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Check my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah. I know this'll be the day. Everything will be okay. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Hey. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing on these streets. Oh yeah. Ain't nobody gonna cry today. Ain't nobody gonna die today. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Gonna be a good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm
Hey, good morning to everybody. who's got a full cup of coffee for us today as we buckle in with hopefully 3 topics this morning on TNT with only me. That's it. That's all you get. But at least I have good topics for you. So topic number 1 is going to be electric vehicles. Does this change real estate? The charging stations and the network and how that's done. Is it similar to railroads in the past and how they changed the country? So just think about that for a minute and we'll look into that one. Topic number 2 is going to be, is the Fed going to raise it 1%? Not 0.75, not half. Is it going to go 1% on interest rate hike? This guy thinks so. 1 is my prognostication. Topic number 3 is going to be 811. Do you know what that is? When you should call it? We'll discuss that more. All right, so those are our 3 topics for today. Thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. I'm seeing people are chatting in their names. They're here. They're ready for the morning. Megan's got an amazing sunrise going on there, so that's awesome. Anna's happy as ever. You know, Stacy is always present and ready to go and has a positive outlook. You know, that's a big thing, having a positive outlook every single morning about what you're getting to do for the day. So we start this off here correctly. You do some social media check-ins. You do this, get just a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of real estate stuff, and then you start your day and get moving forward. So today is a Thursday. That's about all I got. Let's get started. Electric vehicles. Does this change real estate? Is it similar to the railroads when they went through the country? We're putting together this new charging system, right? And GM just announced this, that they're putting a network of chargers all across the country. We're going to talk about how many and how it could change things. Does it change it similar to how, you know, we had the virus and that changed everything on where people wanted to live? But if all of a sudden there's charging stations for different things in different places, similar to how the railroads were, does this change it? So let's go ahead and take a look at this article that was recently published as we look into it. This is like a large infrastructure thing. Not this one per se, but the whole overall thing. So let's talk about this. General Motors will plans to build a network of EV fast chargers at pilot travel centers along U.S. highways. Okay. In total, there will be about 2,000 in total, and they'll open up and they'll be at Pilot and Flying J locations, and they're going to be at 500 locations nationwide. Okay, so is this news? Is it big news? Let's kind of talk about this, okay? So what this means is 500 Pilot and Flying Js. So think about Pilot and Flying Js and where you would normally see them. Okay, so you got that in your mind. And then think about 500 and then realize that there's 50 states in the union. So it's 10 charging stations per state. Okay, then think about that. And then name the top cities in your state. Okay, now realize how many that is. And then think about, you just named how many cities. And I said there's 10 per state. And then add it up and then go divide the numbers and how many charging stations is that per city. And then realize you only said like 4 cities at the most. And then realize, whoa, that's not really many. Then think about how many gas stations you pass every single day. Okay, think about that number. And then think about how many pumps are at each one. Okay, so now you got that number in your head. Then take those 2 numbers and like multiply them out and think about how many pumps that is. So like every single day, you'll see a gas station on one side of the street and one on the other side. And then there'll be like what, every couple of miles, there'll be gas stations all over the place. And they'll all have what, 8 pumps, 10 pumps, 12, 16 pumps. It's just crazy. And then think about how long it takes to charge an EV vehicle versus how long it takes to charge, to fill up your gas tank. And then realize you probably need like 3 times the amount of chargers as you need gas pumps to do the same equivalent thing because they charge slower than gas pumps. And then realize like, that's weird. Okay, well anyways, so that gets us back. So is that huge news? Maybe not. Is it a start? Yes, that would be great, right? It's a good start. But what I was looking at is, does it change real estate? Okay, so if we kind of talk about that for just a moment, and you think about, I don't know why, I like large infrastructure projects. We think through history, and we think about things like when our highway system was built, okay? And we put a ton of money out there, and we're like, let's build this national highway system to connect everybody together. And that was super impressive, right? And I like those big infrastructure projects. Then we had things like, let's build a railroad all the way across our country. Let's put in a huge oil pipeline. Let's do, before we had a canal system that we used to have in New York, because that was important. So there was all these interconnected things. And now we're building this totally new infrastructure project. Now, this is like one tiny piece of it, but we're going to need to have a lot more. And how does it change it? I like to think back about how the railroads really did change what was going on across the country, and they made cities. And it was super important if you got a railroad in your city. Or imagine if you get a highway rest stop, like an off-ramp in your spot versus down the road, right? Or you get like a Buc-ee's to come to your place, to your location instead of somewhere else. Has anyone went down to Destin this summer and stopped at the Buc-ee's after Mobile, Alabama? My suggestion is don't do it. It is like the craziest place you've ever ran into. That's like a super side note, but it does change traffic patterns. And when something like that opens, you have all these other ancillary things that'll start to open up around it. So I would say if you go back down to that same Buc-ee's, that's the only thing around in Mobile, after you go through over the bridge there, you'll see in 5 years that there's going to be a ton of businesses all around it, other things that go in. And I think you're going to see similar type things start to change with these EV charging stations. It's going to change real estate kind of dramatically, where people go, how far it is between places. So imagine if the drive from Dallas to Austin is this far, and you need one charge equal to, in the middle of it to charge all the time. So does it make a brand new city on the way? Or is there a city right now that's going to gain from that? Because if you drive down certain roads, traffic patterns will change all of a sudden. If you go so far and then you stop and refill between two common places that are driven all the time, does it make this spot different? And those are things to think about. Think about traveling from Houston to this place, to Austin, from here to there. And how does that change it? We may be making totally new cities based on something like this, if that's in fact the case. I don't know. Just reporting. You guys are deciding, but it is real estate related, and it is something to think about. Let's move on. %1 interest rate hike. Is that going to happen here in July? I'm not sure, but I think it probably should. Let's talk about what's going on here with the economy. Let's talk about inflation roaring out of control. It's just like crazy on fire. And we have to raise interest rates so we can rein it back in a little bit, right? So let's kind of talk about some of the big picture things that are going on. And if we just look at like the whole world economy and the things that are currently going on, so we have inflation. Inflation's high, and it continues to be high. And they've tried to reduce it by doing all these different measures like raising interest rates, and they raised it more than expected and kind of like a lot. And did it change anything? I don't know. Inflation seemed to be out of control again when they reported the most recent number. I think there's a lot of people that are kind of scared about this. So why is that important? Well, it's important because if you have inflationary times, then what you have are your current money is essentially worth less if you do nothing, right? So let's assume that you have $1 million just like sitting here, okay? And that's just like a round, simple number, but you got $1 million sitting here on this plate. If you do nothing with it and you wait 1 year, and money now is worth 10% less if inflation runs at 10%. So now you have that same $1 million, but it only has the borrowing power or the buying power of 10% less than it had last year. But mathematically, because inflation goes up, it's actually a little bit less, so you might have 89%. So now you have that, but you don't go from 10% inflation to zero, right? Or back to some type of normal number like 2% that they really want. You're gonna go like a number like 10, 8, 5, 3, maybe you get there. Well, add all those numbers up and add them on top of each other and see what that number is. And all of a sudden, when you look at it, you're like, holy cow, no matter what they do, it's going to be 30% inflation total over the next X amount of years, right? When you add and compound an increase on things. And then realize we've already had some. So now you look at it and you're like, wow. So the reason that that's an issue is because it forces people to be active. You have to do something with your money. You can't sit there and hold on to it. It's like this analogy all the time that I talk about is if you love the beach and you go to the beach and you pick up a handful of sand and you're like, I love this, I'm gonna squeeze it, I'm gonna hold it, I'm gonna do nothing but like, I want this memory. And you squeeze onto it and then all of a sudden you look up and it's all gone. That's the same type of thing with money if you just hold it. Is during these inflationary times, if you do nothing at all, then what happens is you have less. So people are forced to do things. Okay, so to get this under control, what they're trying to do is slow down the economy. And to do that, they're raising interest rates. Well, they're raising interest rates relatively quickly because they realize they can't get this under control. So we have a couple of large things going on. Some of the larger things is the dollar is now strong. So the dollar compared to other currencies, it just keeps gaining on them. So we're now back to near parity with the euro. So check that out and take a look, but like $1 equals pretty much 1 euro now, right? So they're equivalent. Well, for a long time, I think it's been 20 years since they were at parity. And it looks like the euro is going down even more. I might say it goes down to like 9.92 and goes the other way. And it's because here in the US, we have a strong economy. We're doing the things that we need to do to get inflation under control. We can talk about, did we do it quick enough and are they doing enough to do it? I don't know. But I'm just saying that we do have inflation and we're tightening our belt here. And it seems like people are rushing to the dollar for safe haven because we're gaining on other currencies. So imagine that you have inflation and you have a problem with your currency. So now look at the euro. And that currency has lost, I believe, 13% for the calendar year in 6 months, 7 months, right? It's lost 13% compared to the dollar, and I think it's going even more. So imagine you had inflation in your country and pegged against the dollar, you also lost another 13% in the last 7 months. Then multiply that out for the year and realize like that's a lot. Right? So now do the whole thing and now your money's worth, in a couple of years, you have half the amount of money that you used to have or half the buying power because the dollar is really just like a store of value that people have negotiated and said it has some value. Other than that, it's just a piece of paper, right? That like people hand to one another, but no one even hands money anymore, right? It's like this digital, I have a card and it has like this amount on it. I don't know, it's kind of crazy, but anyways, I do think that they're going to go one. So if you're betting out there and you need anything to bet on one, and it'll be the long shot, but it probably will happen. And what that's going to do is it's going to try to slow the economy down just a little bit. But I saw that the last move they made didn't really do a lot. Who's been out there recently? Who's seen what's going on in the real world? Okay? And I saw last month that they raised it by 0.75. And everyone went on vacation and everyone spent a ton of money and the places were as busy as I've ever seen them. I don't see it changed anything. Except what it did is it signaled to all the retailers and to everyone else that like inflation's a real thing. And then all of a sudden I went out and did things in the local market. And I walked into like the donut shop and the lady has all new prices on the board. And things are like whited out and there's scratches through the numbers and there's a new price and it's all more expensive because they were given the opportunity to raise prices And then they're like, well, I waited as long as I could, and now I raised them. So what I think we're going to see now is all these people that waited and hung on until somebody yelled, inflation. And then they yelled it, and people started to actually execute on it. So then they executed on it, and then now the prices went up even more, right? So does that control it when you're just there yelling, inflation, right? Then prices go up. It's just really weird. Everyone kind of tried to not do it until, and then, so next time you're out, look and just look at the menu and see, right? Is this menu brand new? Did they just like print a new one? And are these prices the same as they were a couple of years ago, or are they more? And then that's what inflation is, and that's buying power, and that's all these different things. And 1%, I do believe, is coming. It was previously unheard of. It was going to be 0.5%, then it was going to be 0.75, and now I'm thinking 1. Maybe they even surprise you at 1.25 to slow it down, because all these numbers compounded on top of each other are not good. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. It's going to get interesting, but real estate is worth even more. It's just going to continue to fly. Exciting. That's all. Well, that's a wrap for us. And I saved another topic for tomorrow. Feel great about that on Friday. I got all these topics all queued up. We'll have Shana back, and we'll have some good topics and good discussions. I wish you the best on this Thursday and Friday and Saturday and all the days after that, but just have a great day. I don't know. It's the summer. Do it. See ya. Yep. Okay.
It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up. Can't you see the sun shining? I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Checked my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah. I know this'll be the day. Everything will be okay. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing on these streets. Ain't nobody gonna cry today. Ain't nobody gonna die today. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Gonna be a good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, 'cause I hear music playing. It's gonna be a good, good